Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can judge from the title, I'm going to be talking about this book and how it literally sucked the life out of me. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to the lighting crew. My sister, she's literally holding a light, so I have good lighting. Okay.
You're welcome.
So before we get started, I want to let you guys know that the first half of this review will not contain spoilers. Then I will get into the spoilers in the second half of the review, just so you guys are warned. For some reason, it is always so much harder for me to review books that I love rather than hate. I went pretty off in my Tiger's Curse review, and I am still getting views and a lot of negative comments on that. As I was trying to write a script for this, it was just hard because I didn't know where to start because I love this book so much. But I guess I'm just gonna start from the obvious. I mean, you can probably tell from the background why I chose this. It's a gay romance, if you can't tell from the description of the book and the reviews. I would have put in this one thing that I found. Someone's review was like 1 star. They didn't know it was gay. I was like, I want a refund. It's like, how do you not know? So basically, the number one thing I enjoyed and loved about this book was the depiction of the romance between Patroclus, which I just a week ago learned how to correctly pronounce his name, and Achilles. The story is told through Patroclus's eyes, which I think is particularly interesting because most historians of the Iliad and most people tend to shy away from him because we don't know a whole lot about him. But what I really love about what Miller did with this book is that she took a character that not a whole lot of people know about and gave him a lifelike quality. I think it's interesting because in some ways they're polar opposites. Like, Patroclus is awkward and terrible at sports, terrible at basically everything, like I can entirely relate, and Achilles is...
I think the word I'm looking for is Gary Stu.
He's not a Gary Stu, he's amazing, leave him alone. You know, when I picked up the book, I didn't know too much about Achilles, but I knew he was a war hero, and I thought, okay, here we go, he's gonna be really full of himself, and not really. He doesn't really get like that, like, until maybe halfway through the book, but it's understandable because so many people have put so much pressure on him. But when Patroclus and Achilles meet, he just kind of lives his life, and Patroclus just kind of melds into it.
Oh my god, it's balancing on your freaking knee.
I know! When the Song of Achilles loves you so much, it balances perfectly on your knee. Something that ties hand in hand with the relationship is the descriptions. Obviously, if you go on Goodreads, all of the reviews are going to be like, I love the descriptions. And they're entirely right. The descriptions were amazing. It's kind of like these descriptions are there, and sometimes you don't even notice them because they're just so interwoven into the book. It's really hard to explain, but, you know, just read a sample of the book, and I think you'll understand what I'm trying to say. These descriptions kind of formed images and personalities in my head of these characters that I knew nothing about before I picked up the book. I was pretty much invested in them. I felt like I had known them my whole life. So spoilers are coming now. Even if you know what happens in the end, which I kind of knew, I knew something tragic was gonna happen. You're still rooting for them. But obviously, if you know what happens with Achilles and Patroclus, you know that they both die. And oh my god. When I started noticing Achilles and Patroclus's relationship kind of deteriorating as the war was going on after Achilles refused to fight, I knew something bad was going to happen. And the way Miller builds tension like that, just... I wasn't physically biting my nails, but I had that sensation of like, shit, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna die first? How's it gonna happen? It literally ripped my heart out. Achilles refuses to fight, but Patroclus knows that they have to fight because the Trojan army is steadily approaching the outside of the camp, and they are bursting through the walls, and they're going to slaughter everyone, and they already have been slaughtering innocent people in the camp. So he's like, okay, we have to do something. Achilles is like, nope, Agamemnon disrespected me, so I'm not doing anything. And if you obviously remember from the prophecy that Thetis, Achilles' mom, told Achilles when he was young that he's going to die shortly after he kills Hector, obviously he doesn't want to kill Hector because then he'll die, and Patroclus doesn't want that to happen either, but he decides, maybe I can put on Achilles' armor and fight as him and somehow end this Trojan war before Achilles can die. So that's what he does. He puts on Achilles' armor, even though Achilles doesn't want him to. He's like, you obviously can't fight, what the hell are you doing? And Patroclus is like, no, I'm gonna stay in the chariot. He promises that he's gonna be safe, and what does he do? The moment that he gets on the fucking battlefield, he picks up a spear and he's throwing it at people, and he actually ends up killing people. I was surprised. I was like, hold on, Patroclus is killing people? What? And then he's like, okay, better go back to the camp now. And then he gets cornered, and then he gets stabbed in the gut, and then my heart breaks in two. What I love about Miller is that she is constantly carrying in her work the mythology of the Greeks. After Patroclus dies, he isn't entirely gone. Since his ashes aren't buried and since he isn't, like, I guess, done with what he wanted to do on Earth, he still kind of floats around the camp. The agony of that, the writing in that, it's just, it felt so hollow. The way she described it just broke my heart. The way that Achilles reacts to Patroclus's death is it was very traumatizing for me. I was like, 911? Hello, I need to report a grievance here. After Patroclus dies, which his last thought is Achilles, if that ain't gay, then I don't know what is. Chapter 31 starts out in Achilles' kind of perspective. I'm assuming it's kind of Patroclus's spirit kind of watching him. Achilles stands on the ridge watching the dark shapes of battle moving across the field of Troy. The charge towards Troy looks like the tide coming in. The glint of swords and armor and fish scale beneath the sun. The Greeks are routing the Trojans, as Patroclus had said. Soon he will return, and Agamemnon will kneel. They will be happy again. He cannot feel it. There is a numbness in him. The writhing field is like a Gorgon's face, turning him slowly to stone. The snakes twist and twist before him, gathering into a dark knot at the base of Troy. A king has fallen, which is Patroclus, but he doesn't know, or a prince, and they are fighting for the body. Who? He shields his eyes, but no more is revealed. Patroclus will be able to tell him. No, he won't, and that shattered me. I think all Song of Achilles fans can agree that the ending both shattered us and kind of gave us a little bit of hope. In the darkness, two shadows reaching through the hopeless, heavy dusk. Their hands meet and light spills in a flood, like 100 golden urns pouring out of the sun. Those are the last sentences of the book. And when I first read the book, I was like, oh great, they're both dead. I read somewhere that basically in the underworld, the dead aren't supposed to remember each other. But the fact that Achilles and Patroclus find each other even in death, which is even a quote that Patroclus said at the beginning, I would know him even in death, literally shook me so hard. If that's not the epitome and definition of romance, and the fact that you would literally go anywhere and find your partner anywhere, literally, I don't know what is. Right after I read this, I was like, okay, I have to make sure that Achilles and Patroclus did find each other in the afterlife, because otherwise I will be shattered. I will literally fall on the ground and cry. So I looked at the Iliad, and I looked at other poems and things inspired by it, and yes, they actually did find each other. When Odysseus visits the underworld, he sees that Achilles is accompanied by Patroclus, so they together, okay? So to kind of end this review, I'm gonna end with star rating. Literally 5 stars. I love a book that can make me emotional and actually feel things. I love a book that is well written and well executed. I love a book that literally personifies characters, especially characters that you wouldn't really know about, and writes about a love that transcends even death itself. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe because that would make me even more happy. And if you don't mind, I will be leaving right now to write some gay fanfiction. Bye.